Hello and welcome back to the seventh episode of the 34 Sports Podcast. I apologize for last week, but I was moving into college and didn't really have time to record. But we're back at it, and I'm here joined again with my co-host Raptor.
Welcome back, everybody. We back.
All right, and today we're gonna start off with the unfortunate case of the Milwaukee Bucks, how their odds have turned significantly downward in the last three games. Um, you're with Giannis on the floor for the entire series. The Bucks are negative 34 on the plus minus, which
Bruh.
doesn't bode well for somebody who's supposed to be MVP. But I do kind of give him a little bit of a break because he's got Bam Adebayo, but it still doesn't look good for him. What do you think?
I mean, for me, it's I don't know. I think that it's exactly what everybody thought it would be, right? The Bucks, I mean, not the Bucks. The Heat load up on Giannis, right? So he can't do anything, and then Chris Middleton's only
Well, Chris
showed up
Middleton's
once.
actually been the best player in the series. With him on the floor, they were actually plus 16 in the plus minus, I think, somewhere around there.
I never thought I'd hear that. Plus with him on the floor, but negative. I don't see the Bucks making a comeback because not only is this 3-0 and it's literally never been done in NBA history. Ever.
Yeah.
But I think it's just the fact that the Heat seem to be in every defensive lane, every position needed to stop not just Giannis but like the rest of the team. And then you got Jimmy Butler for the Heat, who is just playing out of his mind, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's on a
I
mission.
mean, he is, and I think if the Heat beat the Bucks today, right? It's today, right? That this could be
I
the end
think
of it.
so. Yeah. We're recording on Sunday, so yeah, today
Okay,
is the
so
day.
if the Bucks get swept today, as far as I'm concerned, Greek's gone.
Well, he's got one
And I
more
think,
season on his contract, but yeah, once
yeah,
free
and then I
agency
think
hits.
the Heat are. I don't know if they become a top. I mean, it's hard not to say they would be
I mean,
after
they're already there
sweeping.
right now. If they're beating the Bucks, they're at least top three in the East at this point in this playoffs.
Yeah, they're definitely out of the current series. They are struggling the least. I'll say that.
Well, a big factor with them, the reason why the Bucks are struggling so much is because they've had issues all season guarding the three, and
hmm
they've got Hero, Duncan Robinson, Butler, even Adebayo, I think can stretch a little bit. Jaja can definitely shoot. So, and you got, not to mention the guys on the bench, but you got guys that can pull it from anywhere. And they're just torching them. They can't do anything. And Butler's just having absolutely monster fourth quarters. He had
That's the thing
17, I
about the
think.
Heat. They're a marksman of a team right there.
Well, they built around good, hardworking guys that a few shooters. Well, they've had actually.
Yeah,
I think most of the people on their roster can shoot the ball. So
I mean, if you go down the list, Jamie can shoot, Hero can shoot,
I was
Robinson, Iggy can even shoot the corner.
I was thinking on the bench. I was thinking, is there somebody you can't shoot? But like even Jake Crowder, Myers
Jay
Leonard,
Crowder was shooting really good
none
the
from
game two.
none from Oakland can definitely shoot. I think in
He can
college he
shoot
was
it.
like
That
30-40%.
Bam just looks so at home. And then like another thing I have to say about the Miami Heat, and I'm not sure if you see it too, but like when the Bucks are frantic, the Heat are just calm.
Yeah, I mean,
It seemed really calm. I mean, I would be too now that you're up 3-0, but they seem like really calm.
I think that's a little bit to do with Pat Riley as their GM, and Spoelstra's a good coach too, which he's basically just been coached by Riley the whole time he's been there. So he's basically just a Riley
I
clone.
was gonna,
So
yeah, I was gonna say he's literally just a shadow of Riley, but down on the floor, it's just kind of.
yeah, I mean, uh, But I
I'm
mean,
gonna go out on a limb here and say it's done today. I really think it
I
is.
think it is. You go down 3-0. I mean, well, maybe they'll pull out one, but they're not coming back. They might
But
get this one
if
today.
see when you're down 3-0, I mean, like I get it. They could very well pull out one. But the demoralization right now in that Bucks locker room is probably like horrible.
Well, it's not even the rest of the team's fault, honestly. It's just Bam. I think, well, the biggest factor for me is that Bam is keeping Giannis under 20 points a game, and that's not doing well. I mean, maybe, I don't know, the Bucks next season, they got to figure it out because Bledsoe's got to score more. I mean, I know you want him for defense, but he's got to score more.
That was part of the issue in last year's playoffs is that Bledsoe wasn't
Well,
shooting well. That
the
didn't help them last year. It's not helping them this year.
Well, the biggest issue for me, and I said it was going to be a bad issue for them last year when it happened, is when they let Brogdon go to Indiana because they were too cheap. And like
And I think they're starting to regret that feat.
I think I said it last week, but I'm
You
saying that
did.
extra money you would have spent on Brogdon was will cost you in the long run because we're going to save money and we're going to get Giannis, but now you're going to lose Giannis and the money that you didn't spend on Brogdon, you'll be losing that money anyway because you won't be having fans sitting in the seats in the future because Milwaukee is not the biggest market. Milwaukee is
The
far from the
only
biggest
reason they're a
market.
big market right now, and they're not even a huge market, is because of Giannis, and that's kind of just once he's gone. What's that team now?
Well, before Giannis came there, they had worse attendance than the Pistons did to their slump. For
Do you think they have a chance of being the same way once Greek leaves if he does, which he will?
I think they'll do okay because I think Middleton and them will do all right. I think that team's maybe a 7 seed tops. That's like tops for me. Could be a 7 seed in the East. It's the East anyway. They're weak, but I don't know. They need to move Giannis at this point. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we're talking about this Miami team shooting threes. If he goes there, that's perfect system for him because he needs shooters around him to pass out to.
He drives and he kicks it. It's probably a bucket 95%
He
of the
need,
time.
he needs to go to a team with a lot of shooters. I know you said Toronto, but does Toronto really have the shooters? That could be a possibility. I just think in a team with a lot of shooters.
The Raptors, I mean, I don't know.
I
They're
don't.
not.
The Raptors, he would fit in differently than just passing it out to shoot because the Raptors are more of a ball movement oriented team anyway. They get
Which
everybody
I don't know if
points.
that's what he wants. I don't.
Well, it depends on what he wants. So if he wants 3 point, he's either thinking Miami or Golden State. But if he
Yeah,
wants to be,
a
I don't.
balanced offense, more or less, I guess.
Yeah, go. Yeah, the Toronto. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
Golden State's a little bit, well, definitely 3 point heavy, but they do balance it somewhat. But I know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. But yeah, my prediction is that they're done for it.
I think they're done tonight. Yeah, it's not looking too good yet. I mean, it's Bam Adebayo's the player of the series right there. As much as Jimmy Butler's done, if they didn't have Bam guarding Giannis like that, it wouldn't be
I
the
can
same
guarantee the
series.
series would not be what it is right now.
No, I did. And Bam, when they traded Whiteside and were like, "Oh, we're gonna go with Bam Adebayo," I was not expecting him to do anything like this. I really wasn't
And now he's honestly a top five in the league.
for a center. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean he's what they want more now. He's a what
mobile as hell. He can shoot the ball, and play defense.
But yet, with Bam, what makes him so good, and I've watched it in games, is that he can dribble out of that high post when he sets the screen. They kind of run that thing where he screens up top and he holds the ball to try to give a dribble handoff. But what
Yeah.
he does is he can dribble out of it if he doesn't like what it is. He can dribble to another spot, and a lot of bigs can't do that easily.
Well, I'm not sure if you remember, but remember in game two when you told me to watch the shot by Bam when he was like a double contested shot, but he knocked that thing down with ease.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, okay.
He was, yeah,
He's a five, but he's pulling that with confidence, and he's just smacking that thing. Like, okay.
yeah. But the Bucks are done tonight, unless they
I don't
something
see how
from
they lose.
America. All right, let's move on to the Clippers and the Nuggets. The Clippers. came out really strong in game one and then kind of had a dud in game two, which was really pushed by Kawhi having I think he shot like 6 for 17, or maybe not even six. He had a
I thought you
really
said
bad.
4 for 17 or
I think
something
it's four.
stupid.
Yeah, I was thinking four, but I was like, that can't be. But it was a bad game for him, and
That's not gonna happen every
that's
day.
not going to happen very often. He also had Murray come out and have a good game, and he had Jokic, and they did. They came. It was. I mean, they didn't win by a ton, but it was enough. So, what do you think about that series?
Uh, I truly believe that the Nuggets were pissed off after game one, and they wanted to come out and they wanted to show that they were not just gonna lay down and lose by 24 games straight. Like
Yeah.
that first game, I was like, "Whoa,
Well,
what?"
one of the big issues in the first game was uh, the low post defense, which they had trouble with throughout the whole season and the playoffs, but especially that game. Jokic had horrible rotations. He was not getting there quick enough to cut them off, and they were already in the air and going up for the shot or the layup before he was even there.
Yeah,
He was a step or two too late. I mean, Draymond pointed it out on, I think, Inside the NBA. Yeah, that's one with Shaq and Kenny and all that.
yeah.
But he pointed it out there that Jokic was just slow. I mean, that's Draymond knows that stuff. That's what he makes his money off of. But
That's why he gets paid.
yeah, that's why. I mean, realistically, he's not an offensive threat. He has to do that to stay in the league. But yeah, Jokic, he must have picked it up last night. I wasn't able to catch a lot of the game, but
I wasn't able to
there
catch it anyway.
wasn't
I just looked at my score in the third. I was like, "Damn."
a ton of those line drives. Maybe Denver. Like I said, I didn't watch the game, but maybe they just try to pack it in the paint and let them shoot if they wanted to shoot and try to die that way rather than die by them just getting line drives. I don't
Or
know.
they took Kawhi out of it.
In my opinion, I would have brought Bol in there. I mean, I know they say he's not ready, but I feel like if your low post defense is weak, a 7-2
You're
guy
really
wouldn't be
high
that
on
bad.
Bogle, and I think it's a good thing.
I'm high on him, but they need like just the fact that they need a guy like that. Their low post defense is very weak. I mean, even him being, I give him one shot. Give him like if he's sucking for a quarter, pull him out. But like, let's see where it goes. You don't even have to start him at like the first quarter. Bring him in for the second and see how it goes. But
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
just
yeah.
see how it is, especially if you're getting torched like the first game. Just see what happens. Which I
Like
don't.
that period there when they were up 85 to 67 or something. I mean, they could have brought him in for like a couple minutes just to see if that might have been something.
Yeah.
Like you're up by almost 20, just try it for a couple of minutes. I mean,
I mean, that team is the Denver is built big, which is odd for this time period. I mean, that's more
it's
it's
usually a small ball type of league. Just ask the Rockets.
yeah, they're the opposite of the Rockets. But they've got a ton of tall guys, which is really weird why they would have not that good a low post defense. It's just probably just I don't know if the guy's
That's
IQ isn't
think that's
there or
just like the way the players like that's just the way the players are
yeah.
built. I guess they're not bred with that post defense. I don't know if
Well, Jokic is more focused on offense as much as he's lost the weight and he's more quick. He's still got that focus on offense, and his defense is subpar at times. Which
it has
will,
its nights of being good and then it has its nights of being like almost well it has its nights of being part of the reason they lose.
yeah, generally Denver's the kind of team that they either win by 10 or lose by 15,
It's kind of yeah, it's kind of a
but they can get it going. They can get it, well, not in this series because Kawhi's not going to have another bad game like that. Speaking of Kawhi, he was on an absolute tear before that game. I don't think he had any game below like 20 or 21 points
he
in
was
the whole
averaging
playoff.
like I know in the series before this one he was averaging 30.
Yeah, he was on a tear. It wasn't even, I don't think it was really their defense. I just think he was having a bad
Kawhi
game
just
last
has
night.
this sense of he doesn't care what's in front of him or who's in front of him. He will either pull the post or the mid range in your face and smack it. He doesn't care. Or he'll go up on two people, double clutch, and just softly off the glass like there wasn't just two people he had to go through.
Or he'll just dunk it on people. I've seen one where he just goes up the staircase, just goes up the ladder and just
Oh,
dunks
I've
it on.
seen him go up the staircase. Just ask
Yeah,
Giannis last year.
yeah,
That,
but
but like when you look at Kawhi, I don't really expect like I know he can do it, but like I didn't. He doesn't look like the type of guy to be able to like throw that thing that I don't know.
yeah, Kawhi's one of the great playoff performers, I think, especially in the last couple of years. I mean, there was a little bit of a dry spell there. I mean, it wasn't helped by the Thunder being so good with Durant and Westbrook and the Warriors really picking it up. It didn't help him at all. And then he got injured in I don't know what year it was. 16. It was
But
16.
ever since he came back, he's just been a different.
Or no, it was 15. He got injured in 15.
Yeah,
But
and that's why the rules implemented that you can't.
well,
That's
yeah, that's a
literally
different
a
story
straight
for
up
another
jump.
day, but that makes James Harden more money when they institute that rule because he throws out his feet. But
Yeah,
that's a different,
but
that's a
it's
different,
just I
yeah.
think Kawhi just when he enters the playoffs, he's just in a different. Except for last night, like that doesn't happen, so I'm not even gonna.
Well, he
But like,
still shot 17 shots. If he was coasting, he wouldn't shoot 17 shots.
and he goes into this mindset. Dare I say this Mamba type thing?
Well, yeah, he just, it's kind of, I
Like,
don't
is
know. He kind
that
of gives me
that's
more of
saying
a
it's compared
Jordan.
to like the same type of like the focus is like Kobe and MJ? Like when it comes to like the I'm gonna make this shot or it's not like
Yeah,
I'm gonna be the
Kawhi's,
guy to make the shot type of thing.
yeah, Kawhi just, I mean, Kobe was kind of just a shoot it guy. Kawhi's got more like a Jordan thing. He'll pass the ball, but he can take
He
it
can
when he want.
pass
He
and
can
throw it
get
down. He can
it
shoot the
basically
mid
when he wants.
thing.
He,
Yeah,
but Kawhi's kind of, and his hand, he can do that thing Jordan could do where he'd stretch out the ball and bring
yeah.
it back.
Oh my
But
god,
I'm
the amount
not
of.
saying he's like Jordan, but he has some qualities of him.
Well, okay. Well, that's interesting that you say that because I was watching the NBA on TNT like a couple months back, and was it Ernie or was it Kenny? I think it was Kenny said that Kawhi is not exactly like MJ, but he's pretty much the closest thing we have to MJ in the modern day game.
Yeah, I mean, Kawhi doesn't. Kawhi differs in the bounce. Jordan just had a weird bounce. I mean, it
Kawhi can
just
get up there, but it's
Kawhi can
definitely
get
not
up there, but it's
there.
like because his hands are so big, he just grips the hell out of the
But
ball
I
and
think
just
it was
dunks it
kind of
over.
like just the sense of like MJ being able to do everything on the court, and
Well,
like everything.
well, Kawhi's one of those guys who can just walk in the building and you know that he's gonna come out and play, and you're gonna have to guard him that night. He's one of those guys like, man, I gotta guard him.
And I think that was a thing for the Raptors last year, and it's a thing for the Clips this year. Like when Kawhi has the ball in his hands, it seems to kind of, and like it's not a disrespect thing to the rest of the team, but it seems to just like take everybody else out of the opposing team's mind. It's like everybody just focus on Kawhi, and then you got everybody in the corners and the wings and stuff. It just helps to have a guy that's like I don't know the magnet of attention for
Yeah,
the opposing team.
yeah. And another thing with why the Clippers are doing better now and why they'll bounce back next game. I mean, Kawhi had one bad game, but Paul George is back. I mean, as many bad games. I think Paul George had three bad games this playoffs, and Kawhi can have one. I think if Paul George can have three. So, but Paul George has really showed up now. He had that. He had those.
Oh, I'm not worried about the bad games. I know Kawhi's
Well,
gonna
I
come.
know, but it didn't look too good coming
No,
in.
and Paul George, you know he was gonna find his way eventually. It's Paul George.
Well, he had to, or else it was gonna be bad omen for this
Playoff
Clippers.
P is actually kind of
I
bad
don't
now.
get why they call him playoff P. I really don't. I don't. I get he never
Just call
like
him Paul
he can
George in the
never
playoff.
put down LeBron, which I thought that Indiana Pacers team had a very good chance before Hibbert. Uh,
Last year he couldn't put down Dame.
yeah, he couldn't put down. Well, that came down to one shot though. Well, no, because that was five. Yeah, they were tore. Yeah, Portland went through them pretty easy. That was. I don't know. I don't know why they call him playoff P. He's really only had two or three playoff runs with the
I know they
Pacers.
act like he's like a playoff bound player every year.
He
It's like
really him and Anthony Davis are on the same level for me. They've played very well throughout their careers, but they haven't really showed me anything at any accolades
they
yet. They
don't have a
haven't
ring to show for it.
well,
I'll
they
just
haven't
say.
even had neither of them have a conference finals. Both of this, well, no, yeah, Paul George's got three conference
Well, to
finals.
be fair, I think the Clippers are gonna have a conference final this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they don't pass Denver, forget it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I don't. Paul George just hasn't really shown it for me. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't. When I think of top players, I don't really have him in my top five or even maybe my top 10. He's like a
Like
Verge
in the
top.
league or like ever?
In my
League right
shooting,
now?
in my
Oh,
guards, he's like kind of there and he's not. I mean, he's kind of inconsistent at
he's
time,
not
but
really in mine. Not gonna lie.
he's just kind of this guy who he comes out, he
Brooklyn
just
would be
does
in
what he
a 10,
does,
but not
but
a 5. Definitely not a 5.
I don't know. I just hopefully he can keep up what he keeps up. I mean, he's not bad. He can put up 35, but I don't know. All right. Well, I already mentioned him, but speaking of Davis, we'll go to the Lakers next. That Lakers Rockets series was a little bit harder for Lakers fans to watch that first game. I mean,
Okay, but I'm not gonna lie. I think it's a different series, but they also dropped game one.
well, yeah, I was high
In
on
the last
Portland
series.
too, but I mean, the
They're
the
not,
the
the Rockets are
Blazers
a better
game.
team than the Trailblazers, but
Well, the difference with the Blazers and the Rockets is the Rockets game makes the Lakers have to play a little bit out of their normal because they gotta play fast and they gotta play maybe a more small ball lineup with Davis at the five, which when Davis has been guarded by PJ Tucker, he hasn't scored a point. Well, it was one game, but it's still
LeBron had zero fourth quarter points. Huh.
yeah, that
Huh.
wasn't good. Well, so did Kawhi, so that doesn't really that but
Yeah, but it just shows if your top players don't perform, it's
well,
not
if
fun.
is Rocco guarding him? Because if Rocco's guarding him, it does.
I can see why then.
That's I'm honest. Robert Covington. I don't. Philly needed a guy like him. I get. Well, no, because Philly traded for Jimmy Butler, but at the same time, they needed a guy like that, and
They don't have a guy like that
they
anymore.
don't have any
So
shooters at all.
Rocco's just a good all around defensive player.
Yeah.
And offense. He can splash it, but I mean he's definitely known for like when you think of Rocco, you think of the defense.
Game two is gonna be interesting because I know that LeBron's not gonna have. He had a kind of an off game, and we'll see what he does when he bounces back. But I know he tends to have pretty good bounce back games. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens there. And, I mean, Caruso had a pretty good game, but I haven't seen Kuzma. Kuzma's been quiet the whole playoffs, and I don't know. He's just turning into a role player. I'd like to see them move him or something because he doesn't seem to really fit with what they're trying to play right now.
Yeah.
But I know he can be in a system where it's open for him to do what he wants a little bit more. Can be a 25 a night kind of guy.
See, I think the Raptors are going to I mean not the Raptors. The I think the Lakers are going to have an issue because they're not like when you watch the Lakers, or at least when I do, I really see that they like to take their time. And against the Rockets, it's not gonna work.
Well, yeah, and if you
Like if
also
you
might,
miss, they're gonna be down the court way quicker than LeBron and AD and all of them can get down the court. I guarantee
yeah,
it.
and sometimes I'm not saying I don't know how it was last game. I didn't watch the game, but sometimes LeBron's transition D is a little bit iffy at times. A lot of the I've seen a couple games the Lakers play. Well, it was the seeding games. I'm not just forget it. It's not really, but they were kind of lazy on defense in the seeding games. It's a seeding games, but it doesn't look good when people are watching the game and they see you come down after with like 18 seconds on the shot clock. It does.
I'll say though that the Rockets are a hard team to defend in transition, though.
Well, yeah, and they move the ball, and even when you think Russ is just going to take it to the rack, he'll whip it out, and you got Covington or Tucker or Daniel House or Macklemore or Harden just waiting out there to shoot the three.
Or
And there's
Gordon.
or Rivers. There's a bunch. Like I mean, they're a shooting team. That's what they put their money
That's their
into, and
yeah.
they'll die that
Mike
way.
D'Antoni live or dies by the friggin' three ballers.
But yeah, and like I said before, if you look at the stat line, what did LeBron do last night? He went, or maybe it was the night before, but he went 2 for 7 from three, shooting them three balls too much. He should only take maybe four a game. That's if LeBron takes more than four threes, it's generally not good for the team unless he's
Yeah, but then
just,
he'll have his nights when he goes 6 for 7 from three. So it's kind of just like a
oh,
night by night thing. I swear.
well, yeah, but I don't. It means 2 out of
He's more
seven.
likely to do the 2 for 7 thing, but
Yeah, you just gotta. I know what kind of a player he is. He's 6'8", 270-ish. I'm just gonna probably 265, but he can just run it down people's throat, and I don't think he does it enough. If he did that more, I remember I was watching back the 17 Warriors series, and I think in the last 4 minutes he shot six or seven threes. Or maybe not him, but the whole team was just shooting, shooting, shooting. And I don't get why back then, and I don't get why now he just doesn't drive in more. I mean,
preserves your body longer than going in. Ask Blake Griffin.
well, I know going. I'm not talking about slams. I'm talking about layups, maybe some post ups. Just get down in the post.
Well, the thing about LeBron, if he's going inside, he's not laying it up.
Well, no, I know he's got enough physicality. I mean, maybe not on Rocco. That could be part of the issue, is with Robert Covington. He can't really get in the paint. So I don't know. I just think he needs to get away from the three a little bit more. He's too quick to shoot the three
It's just that
sometimes.
that's the game these days, and it's just the way it is. But like, I get what
Well,
you're
yeah, and
saying. But
especially
he
with the
needs to,
Rockets speeding him up, that's going to be more
yeah,
likely for him to shoot threes. I just don't think that's the best place he can play at. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if next game he doesn't have a very good game because, like I said, his bounce back games are very good, and AD's got to play better because, I mean, PJ Tucker's a very good defender, but he should be able to just go over top of PJ Tucker.
you would think so.
I don't think PJ Tucker can block him easily. He should just be able to go over the top. So he's gotta get that Kareem skyhook out or something. Or even I
Or
don't he
just
shouldn't even
drop
need the
step him.
skyhook. He shouldn't even need the well, drop steps. PJ Tucker's gonna watch the drop step. He's gonna need to get the hook out. Or maybe an up and under, but he's gotta be a little bit more he's gotta have a little bit more finesse down there to kind of outwork PJ Tucker. And we'll
Yeah,
see if he does. And they also need more points out of the if last year's NBA champion Danny Green's got to be a little bit more consistent. Nobody's talked about that really, but throughout the playoffs, I don't think I've seen Danny Green play this bad since he left San Antonio. I just I don't know why he's even his three balls off. He could always rely on his three ball, but now it's not. I don't know if
he
it's
can't
because
really
he's
do
getting
that for years.
older or what. I don't know.
I really, yeah. When you think about that, I mean, you need contributions from everybody, and if Danny Green can't shoot a ball for his life,
Well, do you know how big he was for Toronto last year? Well, of course you do. He
yeah, he
was
was. He
big.
made his corner three, that's for
He was
sure.
making his threes. He's not doing that for LA. And they needed that. they overpaid him, in my opinion. I think that was a little bit much for him, but they were scratching for players at that point after Kawhi had waited so long.
Yeah, but
So
what I see in that is the Lakers are. I don't know. I feel like to give I'm gonna cut him some slack and say he doesn't get as many touches as he did when he played for the Raptors.
that's true. Because like it
Because
was
LeBron and AD, it's literally them or bust. Like they just go before, like back and between each other. It's like you got Danny in the corner. You hit him once a game. No wonder he can't get in a rhythm.
I need more ball movement. I think. I think they need a little more ball movement. LeBron needs to, I don't know, he either needs to take it himself or
Like I remember
get
Danny
15 again.
last year. He would have 7 threes a night, some nights, and like he might not have hit a good amount, but at least he shot them.
Yeah, and I mean, they need a better. Has Rondo played?
I
I don't.
don't think so. And if he did, he hasn't made an impact.
I don't, because I don't really like. I mean, as good as KCP is on defense, I think his lack of offense outweighs his ability to play defense.
Yeah, he did play. He had 8 points.
Did he really?
Yeah. Yep. He did play.
Look at how Caruso played.
Alex 14 points.
I'd start him. I really would if I were the Lakers. I would start Caruso over KCP.
Danny had 10 points in
I don't.
28 minutes.
I
He
feel
went two
like
for six.
yeah, I feel like Vogel's really stuck. I feel like he likes KCP a lot, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I would put Caruso out there because Caruso plays well off LeBron, but they're gonna have to figure out what they want. I mean, the lineup they had out there, they've won with, so they should be able to win with again. And I expect the Lakers to probably win the next game. I do. As
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to not think that.
All right, let's move up. I would say to the north, but we're all down in Orlando right now. But
You know.
let's talk about the Toronto-Boston series. It was almost on the brink of being bad for Toronto, but they pulled it back to evens. Surprisingly, I mean, I know it's a little bit surprising to me. I didn't think they were coming back from down 0-2, almost 0-3. But they've pulled it back, and last night was the best game I've seen them play. I mean, they had really good games against Brooklyn, but not the whole team was not really gelling as well as they did last night. And yeah, Ibaka had 20 plus, Siakam had 20 plus, Lowry, Van Fleet, all had 20 plus. So, what do you think about that?
I mean, I mean, as a Raptors fan, I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie. I'd be lying if I said I didn't doubt at one point here that we were gonna be able to do it. But I feel like there was a lot of Celtics fans and a lot of NBA fans that were like, they have no chance at all. Like before the series started.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was just pushed by that they had lost once in the seeding game already, and it did show up in the first two, but this last one was a little bit different.
I think I don't like. I mean, I don't like to like. I mean, they are my team, and I don't want to jump to it, but I feel like the Raptors could really pull this series out now that they're playing like tied, right? So now it's a best of three.
Yeah. I would also like to mention before we talk too much about that that in the last two games, Tatum Tatum played bad in three, and Smart and Brown played bad in four. But we'll have to see what it happens. Now Toronto's rolling, so we'll see how that evens
And
out. If
Pascal played
Smart,
bad in 1, 2, and threes.
well, yeah, we'll see how this evens out. If Smart and Brown play well and Tatum play well, and now you got the Toronto is rolling now. We'll see how that clashes. We'll see if that should be really good finish.
See, I believe that shot. I know it was a .5 second of shot, and it was
He
lucky as
got it
hell.
off in point three, which is very surprising that
I'm
somebody
not
has
gonna
that quick
lie,
of a
it
release.
was lucky. Like, I mean, you can't get away from that. That was lucky, but I I would be willing to bet that that was a momentum shift in that little span.
Well, that was Tatum's fault that Anunoby was left open because
It
Tatum
was
forgot to
Jalen Brown.
call.
It wasn't
Well,
Tatum.
no, Anunoby started on the opposite corner, and Tatum didn't talk to
Yes,
Brown
he
that
did.
he
He was
did.
yelling. Did you not see the replay?
No, I didn't see the replay. I thought that.
He was yelling at Jalen Brown.
So that was Brown's fault then. All right,
Yeah,
you got me.
it was.
But whatever it was, somebody
Well,
didn't know
Brad
where they
Stevens
were
also
on
shouldn't have ran
defense.
a zone with .5 left.
Well, even he would have been fine to run the zone if Brown had been in the correct spot. I
Yeah,
mean,
because if you watch the replay when Obi goes behind Tatum, you can see Tatum yelling OG
and I
and pointing
mean,
to the corner.
Brown should. I mean, he has no excuse that he can't hear because again, as much as they're pumping in noise in those arenas with no fans, you should still be able to hear that.
Yeah, and it was Tatum. Like it's well, and Jalen said it was his fault already in that game. I mean, I think Game 4 was just maybe I don't know. I think it was a momentum thing. I really do.
Yeah, and I mean, this is as much. I'm going to compare Boston to Milwaukee, but as much as this is a big series for Boston, they've got more time than Milwaukee does. Boston will be right back here next year, and who knows what they'll pick up. But I mean, they've got Boston has got a longer road ahead of them. This is just one setback for them. They'll be back
It's
next.
funny because for me, this rides a little bit more than just the playoffs. Because like in my IRL life, my principal at my school is a Boston Celtics fanatic. so, so like either way, I'm gonna let him hear it, or he's gonna let me hear it.
Yeah, it's a It's a shame you can't be in class right now because you could be ragging on him after the Ananobi shot. But,
Yeah, but then he could come back with the rebuttal of it was lucky and I can't even fight it.
but yeah,
so
this is it's really shaping up. The Siakam actually that was Siakam's first real good game in the playoffs last
Siakam to
night.
23-11, I think.
He's got to stay at that pace. He has to stay there. I mean, it probably helped that he was on Tatum, and he's been playing Tatum pretty good. And Tatum was having a bad game, so his defense had to be he had to play good defense, but he could probably slack off a little bit on defense when he saw that Tatum wasn't having the best night.
Did Tatum really have that bad of a game? Because I thought he had.
He had 15, and I expect Tatum to be a 20 point a night guy. That's where I expect him. So 50,
Tatum had 24 and 10.
he had 24. I gotta look at the stat line before I talk. I'm thinking
Kemba
of
had
game three.
15.
I'm thinking
Jalen.
of game three. But I said that. I just said that. I should know that. But Smart and Brown were the one who had the bad game. So yeah, you're right. But
But I think it's gonna be.
it's gonna be a really good finish. I think I got. Well, you can't quite tell. I was gonna make predictions, but it's a little bit. We've already kind of talked anyway about
I
where
mean,
we
you can
feel,
kind of
but
make predictions. Heat over the Bucks.
well, yeah, Heat over the Bucks. I got. I don't. I I can't. I mean,
Clippers over the Nuggets.
Clippers
Easy.
over the Nuggets. I can't decide Lakers, Houston, and Boston, Toronto at this point because they're both tied up.
Lakers over Houston. And I don't know about the Celtics and Raptors. I
They're
really don't.
both tied up. I can't decide on either yet. I'm not gonna make a prediction there, but we'll
I think
see.
the thing with the Celtics and Raptors is that every game so far, it's been a who plays a better fourth quarter wins the game.
Yeah,
Literally.
yeah.
It's not even the freaking first three quarters. It's whoever plays a better four.
Well, that's generally how it goes a lot of games, though, if they're close.
Yeah, but like I feel like it's been like that's the only way this series has been decided is who puts up more points in the fourth.
Yeah,
Like only. but
yeah. Uh,
like the whole bubble, the refs in all these series have been kind of
And they're kind
No.
of iffy. They're either letting them play or they're calling too much. There's no real in the middle with the ref bub in the bubble.
Well, to be fair, I can't even sit here and say that if it wasn't for the refs in Game 2 of the Bucks in Miami, that they'd be up the way they are, like 3-0 wise.
Yeah,
But, I mean,
yeah,
that's in the past. That's a couple days ago now, a few days ago now. So, I mean, you can't really.
yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much it for this week. There's not much else to talk about. I don't really think the baseball scene's not been that exciting
No,
for
it's
me. It's been fairly boring. The Tigers have really kind of fell off, which is what was kind of exciting me, being from
bright
Michigan.
side. Football's calming up, so.
Football, we will be talking about football. I- maybe I'll try to push the podcast back to like maybe like a Tuesday recording next week so we can get in the first week of football. And we'll do that next week. I'd like to thank everybody for watching this week. We're on number 7, edging our way towards 10. But if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to like and subscribe and comment if you disagree with anything or if you agree with anything. And if you're listening on a podcast app, thanks for either coming for your first time or watching again. This has been another episode of the 34 podcast. Thanks for watching.